So, what if the universe wasn't random at all? I mean, what if underneath all the chaos we see, there's a hidden, precise geometric code? A code that governs everything, from gravity to the way planets are formed. Well, that's the wild idea behind a framework called System 367. And today, we're going to see just how deep that rabbit hole goes. Think about it for a second. All those fundamental numbers that make our reality work, the speed of light, the force of gravity, the mass of an electron, are those numbers just random cosmic accidents? Did we just get lucky, or are they hiding a pattern? System 367 says no way is it a coincidence. It claims that what we see as chance is actually the signature of a deep underlying design. The whole system is built on one simple but kind of mind-blowing idea: E equals I. Energy is information. What it's saying is the universe isn't really made of stuff, it's made of pure geometric relationships. In this model, all of physics, every particle, every force, is just that geometric information playing itself out. So, here's how we're going to break this all down. We'll start with the system's geometric blueprint and the master numbers that it claims are the foundation of our reality. Then, we're going to dive into its biggest claims: a brand new formula for gravity, a so-called master equation for the Sun-Earth-Moon system, and a really bizarre link to our modern tech. And we'll wrap it all up by following a predictive spiral out into the cosmos. Okay, first up, the blueprint. The system argues that when our physicists are measuring these fundamental constants, they're not just finding random values. What they're really doing, without even knowing it, is counting the fundamental ratios and proportions of this cosmic geometry. So, if the universe is built on geometry, what are its core numbers? Well, System 367 points to a few key master numbers. Think of them as the primary tools in the architect's toolbox, the generators and prisms that shape all these cosmic relationships. The first master number is 144. And, okay, what's so special about 144? Well, it's 12 squared, sure, but get this, it's also the 12th number in the Fibonacci sequence. And it's the only perfect square in that entire infinite sequence. In this system, 144 is called the generator. It's supposedly responsible for creating all the physical scales, from how we measure time to the actual size of the planets. Next is the one that gives the system its name, 367. This number is said to act as the prism. So it takes all those scales created by 144 and it, refracts them, connecting things that seem totally unrelated, like gravity, the mass of the sun, and the way the planets move. And finally, we have the number 7. It's actually the digit root of 367. It's simple, really. You just add the digits. 3 plus 6 plus 7 is 16, and then 1 plus 6 is 7. Within this whole framework, 7 acts as the key. It pops up in fundamental constants and supposedly marks the exact mathematical gaps that hold the entire geometric structure together. All right, with those numbers in our back pocket, we get to what is maybe the system's biggest, boldest claim of all, that the universal gravitational constant, big G, doesn't even need to be measured in a lab. It can be derived directly from pure geometry. And here's the proposed formula itself. Now, I know it might look a little intense, but look closer. It's built from pure numbers and geometric ideas. You've got 31 squared, the square root of 5, and F12. That's just 144, the 12th Fibonacci number we just talked about. According to this theory, you don't need any physical experiments. It's all just math. And when you actually crunch the numbers on that formula, you don't just get a close guess. The system claims it produces the gravitational constant out to an absolutely insane 100 digits of precision. I mean, that is far, far beyond what our best labs in the world can even dream of measuring right now. And this is the real kicker. The value for G that comes out of this geometric formula is different from the official scientifically accepted value by just 0.011%. But here's the thing. That tiny difference is actually smaller than the margin of error in the official measurements themselves. So the theory's value is technically inside the range of what scientists say the real value could be. Okay, so building on that, the system puts forward another huge piece of evidence. It's a single, surprisingly simple equation that it claims perfectly connects the sun, the earth, and the moon into one precise geometric relationship. Here it is, the master equation. It states that if you take the radius of the sun and multiply it by the radius of the moon, you get a number that's almost perfectly equal to the radius of the Earth squared multiplied by Earth's orbital speed. Now, in standard physics, there's just no known reason why these specific things, the sizes and the motion of these three bodies, should be locked together like this. And when you actually plug in the real-world numbers from astronomy, I mean, just look at this. The two sides of the equation match up with a difference of only 0.13%. For what mainstream science would call totally unrelated values, that is an incredibly tight correlation. All right, this next part, this is where things get a little weird. And honestly, it might be the most surprising and relatable piece of the whole puzzle. It suggests there's a link between these huge cosmic scales and something you probably use every single day: digital screen resolutions. So think about your TV or your phone screen, the standard for full HD video, right? That's 1080p, 1080 pixels high. Well, guess what the radius of the moon is when you measure it in miles? Almost exactly 1080. It's a pretty uncanny match. But wait, it doesn't stop there. What's the next step up from full HD? It's 4K, which is 2,160 pixels high. And the moon's diameter in miles? You guessed it, 2,160. So we have 1080 for the radius, and double that, 2,160, for the diameter. So what do you make of that? The people who believe in the system say it's proof of a deep resonance, that our human choices for measurement and technology are maybe unconsciously tapping into this cosmic blueprint. Of course, critics would say it's just a pure coincidence, that you're just cherry-picking units until you find a pattern that fits. What do you think? And finally, let's look at how this system tries to not just describe what is, but also to predict what might be. It does this by generating a geometric progression, a spiral of numbers, that it claims actually maps out the structure of our solar system and maybe even what lies beyond it. This is the KOCHENOV'S spiral. It all starts with two of the system's key numbers, 367, and another one, 227. And from there, it just grows like the famous Fibonacci sequence. Each new number is just the sum of the two that came before it. So 367 plus 227 gets you 594. Then 594 plus 367 gets you 961. And the spiral just keeps growing outwards. But here's the really wild claim. The numbers that pop out of the spiral aren't random at all. They say that specific nodes on the spiral correspond to real astronomical things. One number supposedly lines up with the orbit of the dwarf planet Eris, another one perfectly matches the Sirius eclipse cycle, and one node even predicts the location of a planet that we haven't even discovered yet. And in the end, it all really comes back to this one quote from the system's creator, Boris Kochenov. He said, "The great architect is a geometer with a compass, not a formula writer." The whole argument is that we're living inside a grand geometric construction, not just a random set of equations. So, System 367, it's a complex, definitely provocative framework. It asks us to look at the cosmos not as a series of cosmic accidents, but as a coherent story written in the language of geometry. And it leaves us with this one last, pretty tantalizing question. If all that's true, are we only just now learning to read the first few letters?